So far, Shiro going to be taken down. The Hunter Spirit from RDW, managing to find favors. 7 in place, King Hill look to answer back now, suddenly into a 2v2, but RDW brings it down to a 2v1.
For years, Two Voices have carried Korean esports through chaos, clutches, and championships. This is how those voices became etched into the heart of esports.
He knows he needs to rush this down. He needs to play for the kill. There's not enough time to cover the plan. He's swinging around the corner, and he manages to get it done! Some with a shorty doesn't find him!
When it came to casting Valorant in Korea, they were unmatched.
And Stacks has everything to do, but no way to make it happen! TRX reclaim their throne in Asia!
They didn't just call the action, they became the action.
Wall will fall, Stacks out of the open, taken down, but Sylvan on the counter swing, gets them the win, 13-9, we have a series on our hands!
This is the story of how Two Voices became the pulse of Pacific Valorant. This is the story of Achilios and Paperthin. Before the voice of Overwatch and Valorant, before the arenas, the stage lights, the roar of the crowd, Seth Achilios King was just a kid deep in the worlds of Diablo 2, World of Warcraft, and League of Legends. He didn't just stick to MOBAs and RPGs, he dabbled in Counter-Strike, Unreal Tournament 2004, and TF2. Games that, looking back, read like a prophecy. A perfect mix of mechanic and mayhems that foreshadowed the exact genres he'd one day shoutcast for millions. And then there was the other side of him, the creative one.
Alright, well, behave yourself. No drinking parties.
Oh, please. It's not like we even have alcohol in this house.
Beer me!
You're great.
Back in 2008, a teenage Seth collaborated with Dom Farah on comedy shorts and action skits on YouTube. These weren't just weekend videos, they were storytelling training grounds. Behind the jokes and DIY special effects was a kid learning how to perform, how to hold a beat, and how to carry emotion through timing and voice.
But you need to understand that we're not trying to be too hard on you.
I said hard on!
So what am I addicted to?
Skills that would eventually define his casting. Fast forward to 2012 and he's getting serious with League of Legends. Not as a player though, as a caster. He started at small tournaments, casting for free as he didn't think it would ever be a real job. But the passion was there, and the voice had clarity, rhythm, and insight. The kind of delivery that made you feel like you were watching something bigger than a game.
On the levels of just how good it is, that death Honda Yasui! Oh my god, baby!
In early 2015, Team Liquid called. He packed his bags and flew to LA to work as a video editor. A dream gig, but it was exhausting. He was cutting docuseries and traveling the globe, discovering scenes from CSGO to Smash Bros. It wasn't casting, but it was a front row seat to the soul of esports. In 2016, Seth would receive his first big break. While still working with Team Liquid, Twitch flew him to Taiwan to cast a League event where he'd meet Monty Cristo, who was a League caster at the time. A month later, Monty would reach out with an offer to move to Korea and join the League Champions Korea broadcast. And without missing a beat, Seth said yes.
The noon improved. Okay. Monte Cristo.
He moved to South Korea and joined OGN, quickly becoming a fixture in the League of Legends casting scene. But just as he started settling into his rhythm, Overwatch started to explode. His first Overwatch cast came in 2016, where he decided to try his hand at the brand new title. It wasn't easy switching gears from League to Overwatch, but something about the high pace, constant pressure, and explosive playmaking clicked with him. He immediately enjoyed it and wanted to do more. For a while, he casted both League of Legends and Overwatch side by side, juggling two very different styles. And with so many established play-by-play voices already dominating the Korean League scene, Seth saw a clear path forward in Overwatch. So, he made the call. He stepped away from League to fully commit to Overwatch, and it paid off. Over the next few years, he became a defining voice of APAC, the Overwatch World Cup, and contenders. That dedication eventually landed him an offer to join the Overwatch League, an opportunity he jumped at with zero hesitation.
Should find some extra casters, because this does not look like it's going to end well.
Yeah, how about those guys?
We have this one final match, the decider match.
The funny thing is, he never expected to be here. Casting was a passion, sure, but he thought his future was behind the camera. Editing, managing, and even working with teams directly. Instead, he was standing in front of packed arenas. However, one thing always bothered him. Achilios had always wanted to cast a game like CSGO, but he never had the opportunity. Clinton Paperthin Bader grew up in the Midwest and he loved competition in all forms. Whether it was sports or gaming, he found a passion. His early interests were actually in flight games, spending hours lost in Microsoft Flight Simulator. However, his first true idol wasn't a pilot. It was Pat Hughes, the legendary radio voice of the Chicago Cubs.
A little pop fly toward Mark Grace. He's waiting. He's got it. The Cubs are in the playoffs. The Cubs win.
That rhythm, cadence, and connection, Clinton loved it. And somewhere along the way, he picked up a mic of his own, calling a few baseball games over the radio as a joke. But during that time, he was actually trying his hand in esports as it was starting to bubble up. He made a brief stint in competitive Halo, but wasn't quite good enough to break through the scene as a player. He graduated in 2003 with a degree in physics, but it didn't quite suit him. He's always been someone who didn't mind being in front of an audience. He actually used to be in a Midwest band called Common Swift. And of course, he also had that competitive itch. Throughout his life, he visited Asia regularly and fell in love with the continent. He worked an IT job for a while, but never shook the feeling that he was meant for something different. So, in 2016, he left it all behind and moved to South Korea. He taught English in order to obtain a visa, but the real move was working with Africa TV, the Korean Twitch. He started small, by proofreading, helping here and there behind the scenes. There was no spotlight yet, just a presence, someone dependable and sharp. Then PUBG dropped. The game hit like lightning, popping off in Korea. Africa TV wanted to host their own PUBG league and needed English casters. Luckily for them, there was a Baldy that had fallen in love with the game. No, not that Baldy. Get out of here, you. Paperthin raised his hand. He already had a foot in the door working in the background with Africa TV. Now he had his shot, and he ran with it. Over the next few years, Paperthin would become a defining voice in the Korean PUBG scene. He knew the game, but more importantly, he knew how to talk about it. Pat Hughes would be proud. In 2020, Valorant would drop.
Without any other util. Spots one, gets the transfer! Delay!
Certainly not, Achilios. Certainly not.
He's gonna check one, gets the headshot, and gets the ace! Scary! The hometown hero! They try to find kills on the back of it. Crashes with the pop flash. Picks out of the corner, eats a full flash. RP able to find one. The approach from behind. Artist mows them down!
Through the connections Paperthin had made in PUBG, he got word early, and Achilios received a call from Riot about a new opportunity. They were setting up a Korean Valorant scene and they needed casters. Someone who could capture pressure, Achilios. Someone who could narrate chaos, Paperthin. And someone who could reflect light off their head, also Paperthin.
Sides were looking abysmal, and Mako has just come into his own with all of this.
Their experience and reputation made them a natural choice for Riot as they assembled talent for Valorant's inaugural Korean event. Their entry into Valorant casting began with First Strike Korea in December 2020. Initially, Achilios expected to be paired with his longtime Overwatch co-caster, Wolf. But Riot had other plans.
Hello and welcome to VCT Pacific Night Market. And if you're looking for some bargains here in Pacific, then boy, we have some great deals for you here today.
Instead, he was partnered with Paperthin, a decision that caught him off guard. Achilios mentioned in an interview that their first cast together may have been in Clash Royale. However, now they'd be paired up on the Valorant stage. Still, the duo quickly developed a natural on-air chemistry, and over time became a staple of the Asia-Pacific Valorant scene. Since then, they've gone to cast VCT Pacific International Masters events and Valorant champions.
They're not looking for this. They are not expecting this. Calm. Can he do it once again? Something. It's going to be the freebie, but he's going to play this out patiently. He wants to spot them both. Can he make the transition? Yes, he can! Calm! Never backs down, never surrenders, and continues to deliver!
Achilios brings energy, sharp, deliberate, and dramatic when the moment calls for it. His voice can flip a round-winning play into a championship-deciding moment. Years of Overwatch casting taught him how to handle speed and tension, and that discipline carries into Valorant.
Dude, this round is all Patman. The way he is playing this tube is so good. The trickery he is employing. Popping the turret, sliding back down, using his poison cloud to slide under the tube, catching him completely off guard. The timings, the movement, the efficiency, that is brilliant work.
Paperthin is a storyteller. His background in PUBG, where tension builds slowly and explodes in an instant, taught him how to track chaos and make it digestible. He's witty, grounded, and always in control. And above all, he knows how to let a moment breathe, giving big plays the space they deserve. Together, they balance each other like a metronome. Achilios hits the crescendos while Paperthin handles the build-up. There's a natural rhythm to their casting, one that doesn't feel over-rehearsed or rigid. In a region once dominated by Korean language broadcasts, Paperthin and Achilios brought English commentary to the forefront. Their presence gave international fans a window into Korean esports, one that wasn't filtered or delayed. Achilios briefly casted Overwatch and League together, and then he moved on to casting Overwatch and Valorant together. seamlessly switching gears between two entirely different casting tempos like it was nothing. He continued this balancing act until 2023 when the Overwatch League shut down. Since then, Valorant has been his primary home. However, we'll still see him cast different games from time to time. Paperthin still casts both Valorant and PUBG to this day, maintaining his foothold in two of the most intense shooters in all of esports. Whether it's a top 16 standoff in Seoul or an international LAN, if there's chaos, Paperthin's probably narrating it. He also hosted a podcast called Pixelsmiths back in 2021, where he talked to independent artists about their ventures, but the podcast hasn't seen an upload since 2022. The duo is so good at breaking down matches that even when you're at the gym with your phone in your pocket and your earbuds in, you can understand exactly what's going on without even watching.
Still got a paranoia here for Adicaptain to work with. He can definitely get this done. Sinking in something. Gonna try to use that south side of the B site to lock this down.
To try to make it happen. Now the reveal coming through. Tag goes in. Paranoia connects and something dead as he tries to entry back down into the site. Adicaptain with the recovered Spectre fights.
Whatever their future holds, I know I'll be following. Gonna end the video on some fun facts about the duo. Did you know that Achilios got his name from a character in a Diablo novel called The Sin War? Being a lore nerd who loved the novel, Seth named himself after that character. And Paperthin actually had a scholarship for playing oboe in college.
So first of all, never pass up opportunities. Don't be afraid to take risks. Sometimes you're gonna fail. Sometimes you're gonna fail right on your face, but you will regret it if you don't at least try. I'd say taking risks was the best thing I've ever done in my life. Taking big-ass risks. Best thing I ever did.
Thanks for watching. I'm trying to hit 500 subscribers by the end of the month, so a sub would be greatly appreciated. I make videos about subjects I'm passionate about, whether it's Valorant, indie games, Valve stuff, or whatever. It'll probably be gaming related. I hope you enjoyed the video, and let me know what content you'd like to see covered next. Throughout his life, he'd visit Asia. Throughout his life, he visited